What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our Big Ten channel. Going to give you some early thoughts on the Michigan State Spartans and if I think this team will be better or worse in 2024, coming off of a terrible season, really. 4-8. They finished 6th in the Big Ten East. Jonathan Smith steps in, new head coach. We'll see what he can do. It's kind of hard to judge what this team is going to look like because you got the roster changes, then you've also got the coaching changes, and sometimes it takes some time. So I'm just going to give you my best guess on whether, again, this team will be better or worse. You look at the quarterback, all the quarterbacks that they had that played, they all transferred out. But Aiden Chili's comes in from Oregon State. This is a very talented player. He's young, but has a lot of upside. So I think that'll be interesting to watch him at quarterback. Running backs, they're in pretty good shape there. Most of the production coming back, including Nathan Carter. He has a chance to be one of the better running backs in the Big Ten. We know about the running backs that they had at Oregon State. So I think the run game will be good. You go to the offensive line there, though, and there are some question marks. They lose their top two offensive linemen from last season, and they have some guys coming back. They weren't great on the offensive line last year. This team really wasn't great anywhere. They bring in a couple of transfers that maybe help them out. So, yeah, offensive line, maybe a question mark. We'll see how good they are up front. You look at the receiver position and the tight ends. Malik Carr is gone at tight end. He was probably their best pass catcher last season. But Montorie Foster is coming back, and so that's their leading receiver from last year. So that is great news. They will lose Trey Mosley, Christian Fitzpatrick. But again, not a lot of production at the wide receiver spot last year, so we'll see how that does with the new offense. They brought in a transfer receiver, TJ Sheffield from Purdue. I think he can definitely come in and contribute. Jack Velling, a tight end from Oregon State, he can help fill that hole. So overall, you look at this offense, and roster-wise, I would say they're probably going to be about the same. But I just think the new staff, I like them a lot better, especially offensively. Jonathan Smith, an offensive guy. So I think that the offense overall is going to be better and more productive. Maybe not by a ton. And it'll probably come down to the young quarterback and how good he can do in year one. If he can go out there and be great, then this offense could actually be pretty good. If he's average, they're probably still going to struggle. But again, I think they'll be a little bit better than they were last year. We go to the defensive side now, and they really don't lose a whole lot. You look at the defensive line, had some guys enter the transfer portal, but didn't really lose much. Zion Young, maybe their biggest loss. Well, I guess Dre Butler in the middle, probably the biggest loss. But Barrow, he's coming back. Boggle's coming back. Avery Dunn coming back. You can go through the list here. Pretty much everyone back on that defensive line. Also, Derek Harmon in the middle, he'll be back. So it should be a very strong defensive line. Probably, maybe, well, they weren't great last year, but as far as returning production, that's probably going to be the area where they return the most from last year. You look at the linebackers, Jacoby Windman, he's gone. Aaron Brule is gone. Xavier Carter gone. But they bring back Cal Halliday. They bring back Jordan Hall. They bring back Darius Snow. I mean, you've got players coming back at linebacker. And they also did a nice job in the transfer portal at that position as well. They added Wayne Matthews from Old Dominion. Also added Jordan Turner from Wisconsin. These aren't guys that are going to come in and be game changers, but they've got good depth there, and that's going to be a very, very solid area, I think, on this team and on this defense is that linebacker spot. And really more of the same in the secondary. They've got a lot of guys coming back. And again, this team wasn't great last year, so just because you have players coming back, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be better. But Dylan Tatum at cornerback, he was probably the best cornerback last year. He's back. Charles Brantley will be back. They lose Chester Kimbrough. And if I get any of this wrong, I apologize. Their roster for 2024 is not out. And so I had to just do the best I could researching which guys were coming back and all that. And it gets really confusing with the COVID year and everything. But Jalen Mangum and Angelo Gross will be back in the secondary. So this is Malik Spencer, safety, coming back. So they have almost everyone coming back. Chance Rucker coming back. This is going to be a very good secondary. And just with all this production returning, this defense should absolutely be better. I think Michigan State's defense, it wasn't great last year. It wasn't horrible. Now, the offense was horrible. I think they were ranked in like the bottom 10 in the country. Defense wasn't horrible. It was kind of average. But I think they have a chance to have a good defense. And if you can have a good defense with an average offense, if you can improve the offense enough just to get to average, then they have a chance to have a pretty good season and maybe get to a bowl game. So I think this team will be better. Again, I think the offense will be a little better. That's more of a question mark. We'll see how it all comes together. But defensively, I think they will definitely be better. And overall, I think that means they will be better. And I think they could improve by a couple of games potentially and get to a bowl game. It's going to be a tough schedule, but again, I think this team will be better. Do you guys agree? Do you disagree? Do you think Michigan State's going to be better, worse, about the same? Let me know your thoughts on the Spartans down in the comments below.